So I recently went through my weight loss students' records to see who's been making progress this year since joining last year, and found one common denominator that predicted with 80% accuracy which students succeed or fail. And surprisingly, it had nothing to do with their body type, age, lifestyle, or even diet or exercise choices. Take these two students, for whom I'll be using fake names and professions to protect their privacy. Cara is a 44-year-old, 165-pound teacher. Before coming to us, she had tried every single diet and exercise under the sun. But whenever she lost some pounds, she'd get stuck and regained it. When she joined our program, she made fast progress initially. Sure, there were some days where she slipped up here or there, and in those times, she'd ask us to help her re-strategize. But overall, things felt easy and productive. Then summer break hit. Without her usual work routine, Cara succumbed to unplanned eating, fell off the wagon, and we stopped hearing from her for weeks. After summer break was over, Cara did eventually come back to us for help. She beat herself up for falling off the wagon and was desperate to lose the weight she had regained over her break. While we assured her that failure is okay and advised her to get back on the wagon slowly by rebuilding her habits one at a time versus trying to do everything perfectly overnight for faster progress, she rejected both guidances. She wanted to get back on full force with a foolproof plan so she can see fast weight loss immediately. She couldn't tolerate the idea of slowly losing the weight she regained because seeing that extra weight reminded her of her failure. So she would try to get back to perfection on her own, burn out, and fall off again. And each time she fell off the wagon again, she judged herself harder, which led to feeling more and more ashamed. Her interactions with us also got more secretive over time. First, she would ask for help on our coaching calls, then she asked for help on our private forums, and finally, she could only stand to email us privately. Famous researcher Brené Brown once said, "If you put shame in a petri dish, it needs 3 things to grow exponentially: secrecy, silence, and judgment." No matter how she reached out for help, no matter how much we empathized, our advice to her didn't change. Eventually, she ghosted us. Then there was Alex, 42 years old and 170-pound engineer. Alex had battled with weight gain, body image issues, and binge eating for years before coming to us. Like Cara, she had tried many diets and exercises alongside several weight loss programs, but always regained what she lost after the programs were over. When she joined our program, she made stop-and-go progress, almost constantly. Every month, it was 2 steps forward, 1 step back, until a major life event hit her that pushed all self-control out of the window. Alex succumbed to emotional overeating, fell off the wagon, and like with Cara, we stopped hearing from her for weeks. A few weeks after her big family crisis, she too came back to ask for help. She was upset with herself too, for she had regressed on many of her habits, succumbed to emotional eating, and regained much of her lost weight. However, while she felt guilty, she didn't feel ashamed. Here's the difference. Guilt is feeling bad over our actions, while shame is feeling bad about ourselves. Research in behavior change shows that those who experience guilt in the absence of shame are more likely to learn and improve on their behaviors, while those who experience shame end up doing more of the undesired behavior. So while Alex did feel guilty that she had let go of her eating habits, she didn't feel shame because she respected her decision to choose her family and her mental health over her weight loss, when both were truly higher priorities at that time. But there was one other key ingredient that enabled her to be resilient to shame. See, Alex had failed enough times in the past with all the stop-and-go weight loss she experienced earlier that rather than breaking her will, the experience actually helped her build up enough resistance to failure not to let it affect her sense of self-worth. She would say, "I feel like shit, but as long as I'm not regaining more than I lost, I guess I'm still doing okay." She acknowledged, not hid, her negative feelings while keeping a zoomed-out perspective on the long game of weight loss. So that's how she ended up back on a coaching call with us, even though she didn't really want to get back on the wagon. She wanted to check in, confess, and hold herself accountable at least. After the call, we decided the best way to get back on the wagon is to do so slowly, with just one thing at a time. At her stage, given she was still emotionally exhausted, we agreed for her to just keep joining coaching calls to keep health top of mind, until she was ready for something harder, that's all. Then once she felt more confident, we agreed to start tracking food again. First without any calorie or macro targets, just to rebuild awareness. And then we added a mild calorie deficit target. Each small step built up her confidence more and more until she was back to her old healthy habits. Soon, Alex was making progress again, until another life crisis occurred and Alex dropped off the map again. She came back a month later and confessed how life happened. She slipped up and regained some weight again. But guess what? This time, she regained less weight than before, And when we looked at her progress sheet, we pointed out that mostly it was water weight gain, not fat. So not only did she gain less weight this time around, but she even body recomped a bit. So we worked on getting back on the wagon again, baby step by baby step, same as before. Over the next half year, she would continue to intermittently fall off, only to get back on the wagon using the same approach as before. Each time she fell off, she regained fewer pounds and was able to get back on the wagon faster than the previous time. In the end, Cara actually fell off the wagon fewer times than Alex, but it was Alex who succeeded. Alex's chart looked like this, while Cara's chart looked like this. Now, Alex is at her lowest body fat percentage ever and no longer afraid of failure. And that's the biggest predictor of success. Not how many times you succeed or fail, but how you deal with the failures. Treated the right way, failure can make you stronger. Treated the wrong way, it can break you. And this is not just Alex, but Lucy and I, and every single one of our successful weight loss students who have had to go through this up and down experience in order to build resilience. By first falling and then picking yourself back up anyway. Failure is a prerequisite for resilience. It's failure plus shame that makes it debilitating, something Cara didn't internalize. In the end, it had very little to do with diet, exercise, or lack of willpower, and had everything to do with what's up here. But before you judge, we've all been Cara before. My chart looked like this when I was in Cara's mindset, and this when I was in Alex's mindset. And 90% of you will have this kind of weight loss journey. But it's easier said than done to get back on the wagon. You may know what to do, but how to actually get from this point to this point? Truth is, you can turn it around, but the how involves something much deeper than just doing the right things, and if you don't get this part right, there's an 80% chance you will still fail. So 2 things. 1, if you want a tried and tested system that teaches you how to build resilience to lose weight and keep it off for the long term, then check out the free sneak peek into my Badass Body Boss program in the comments and description below. Or if you want to DIY it, then you don't want to ignore this video where I show you the key to ending self-sabotage, the #1 factor preventing people from being able to get back on the wagon after taking a break or falling off. So you don't want to miss it here. And always remember, you can do it.